Hello, my name is Creostix, and welcome back to Gone Home. And to the room of green, because yes. What's with the ominous music? Where we'll do it. Midnight, June 5. That's now. Like, in the area of now. Like, just happened. Because as far as I understand, this is between June 3rd and 7th. I think. Where we'll do it. Under stairs, secret door in the foyer, midnight, June 5th. Final preparations are complete.
We agreed our last night together would be our happiest ever, and we'd forget tomorrow was going to come at all. It worked for a while. We had a good time seeing Oscar off, then ran up to the attic to look through our photos, to find one for Lonnie to take with her. And looking at them, I realized they were all in the past, and there wouldn't be any more. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I cried. And she held me. She said she knew it was hard, but life would move on. I said I didn't want my life to keep moving without her. That's when she cried too. I was so exhausted. I must have fallen asleep like that, in her arms. In the morning, I woke up, and I was finally alone.
Ah. That doesn't sound very promising now. Don't do anything, you know. So somewhere around here is a secret. Yep. There sure is. Did Sam do something to herself? Is that's like the a pentagram. Possession and Exorcism by Christian Quinn. Interacting with the supernatural and releasing unwanted spirits. Okay. Name tag of Oscar. They did mention something about sending Oscar off, so okay. I mean, she did, so okay, that. So they did like a seance or such and such in here. Okay. Oscar Mason. Right. The original owner of the place. Terence's uncle, I think. Okay. Attic key.
The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic and wait.
I don't like the sound of that, lady. That's just... That doesn't sound like... All of a sudden, the story took a turn here. Like, now I'm expecting, like, is there a suicide body in the attic? The red lights were on to indicate don't go there, so... But now I have a key, so... Okay... Oh boy. Hello? Can't see anything to interact with. Also no body, which is good. Sam, I'll always remember what we had. Stay strong, kick ass, love you, Lonnie. Ooh. That's it. Oh.
Oh my god. Katie. I fell asleep in the attic, in Lonnie and my old spot, and I missed the first two calls. I just barely caught the third one before the machine got it. And it was Lonnie. On a payphone. She'd been on the bus to Basic, and she said she couldn't think of anything but me and us, and that she couldn't go through with it, with the army and being apart and all of it. And so she got off the bus in Salem. She said, "Sam, I want you to pack up everything you can and get in your car and come find me. And let's just drive until we find somewhere for us." And she asked me if I could do that. And I said yes. Yes.
Okay, so you're fine. You went to... sure. So, we're good. That's good to hear. Photo paper, sure. Okay. Letters to Katie. Do not read if you're not Kate.
I'm so sorry that I can't be there to see you in person. That I can't tell you all this myself. But I hope as you read this journal and you think back, that you'll understand why I had to do what I did. And that you won't be sad, and you won't hate me. And you'll just know that I am where I need to be. I love you so much, Katie. I'll see you again. Someday. Love, Sam.
Okay then. Well, that was that sure was quite yep, that's the end. Okay then. So well, I am not sure. So the like bringing on the notion of like what this game in the end was, I'm still not sure like is it good or is it not good? That's a difficult question to answer. It's like it's a really slow-paced affair until just at the very end you get this this sudden notion that wait, has she committed suicide? She hadn't, which is good, and I felt good that had not happened, and everything's relatively well fine, as in well not completely fine, because well you know Sam had to leave and go with you know and try to live with Lonnie on her own, which but it's better than you know the alternative was, you know, so there's that. But the thing is, it's like when this was brand new, this was a game that was well over 20 euros to buy, and for that was a little much back then. But you know, these days it's you know there's sales and all that, so which makes things easier. But yeah, so it's the thing that kind of like the conflict between Sam and the parents is sort of like I don't know how common that is in many other cultures, but for me it's like that's just strange. Like why would the parents care like what the orientation of the daughter is? Like that's so weird to me. Like it's so normal to me for a girl to like a girl, equally as normal for a girl to like a boy, and vice versa. And it just like what you like. That's fine. So it's so strange that I almost like can't really see that as a hugely dramatic, like it's a really weird conflict more than a dramatic one, if that makes any sense. Like it's obviously a terrible thing for the character, but like a strange thing. Well, the parents are absolute assholes. Okay, so well, she found a good option to leave, and so okay. But at the very end, I felt I felt like now there's a story and then it immediately ends. There was not much before that. There was a lot of, and so much of the lore notes were, they built a little bit of the world around the characters, and I think the thing with Rick and the mom was a bit of a red herring because there was eventually a a, a wedding invitation and all that. So it's kind of an interesting game, and I think it's more interesting than good, if that makes sense. It's a pioneer of the walking simulator genre, if you will, and and that then sort of means that it's kind of a how should I put this? It's a game more about the notion of building very slowly the characters and their very mundane and also somewhat non-mundane things about their lives, and at the very final like 10-ish 20-ish minutes you really like get an actual story moment, or like almost in your brain, oh, that might have happened, and then the end is there and it's like, okay, and now we've done. So it's like, it's a lot of reading for not much, which is, it's an interesting method to tell the story, but I'm not sure the story is completely there to carry the experience then, which is an important point because I feel like the developers learned a lot from that when they made Tacoma, because in Tacoma the story was, in my opinion, at least, much there. The story was, I liked Tacoma a lot. This is a bit of a more mixed bag. Like it's a curious way to make a game because it's one, you don't know if there is horror in the house or not. You don't know if there's monsters or supernatural things. You just go and see what happens, right? So that's the anticipation of you don't know is a part of it. And then you build point by point, like, dad's a writer, a somewhat failed writer, mom knows Rick, and mom is a forestry person, and Sam is a punk teenager and likes girls, and then there's Lonnie, and they're a couple, and so you do that for about a couple of hours ish at most, I think, and probably possibly a bit less too if you don't stop and read everything aloud, and then then you think, oh, maybe she didn't do something, and then she didn't, and it's all good, and she's gone because she went with Lonnie, and the parents are gone because they're at the couples counseling thing resort place. So okay, and that's the story then. It's like, it's a bit of an anticlimax, but then again, you were afraid of a really big climax, of which you're happy it didn't happen. So it's kind of like, well, sure, but still, I've heard before that when a quote-unquote walking simulator is really all about the story has to then be good enough to carry the whole thing. And I'm not completely sure it's here. It's kind of in the end lackluster, maybe just a touch. But that's a loving criticism because, again, I'm very amazed at how the devs made Tacoma much better, because Tacoma has, a much more dramatic story. The method of storytelling is there as well, interesting, but a bit more, curious to look at and experience with the AR thing and all that, and that's a much more engaging game. This is an interesting first step, and indeed, remember, this is the kind of walking simulator where this was, I believe this was the second somewhat, notable walking simulator in existence back when it came out in, I want to say, 2013, something like this, because I think before this there was only Dear Esther, and that was it. The concept of what this was pretty much completely new when they were doing it. So it was more a proof of concept, maybe, of you can tell a story like this, and you can, and they did, It's just it maybe needed a bit more, less kind of pointless fluff and more of actual meat and bones, which is more interesting. But it is still an interesting first step, and it's it's still as a curious point in gaming history, if nothing else. And I was curious to read through the things and all that. It just I felt that when all things are said and done, it was maybe a little. It needed something a little more as well. But still, do tell me what you thought of it, and if you agree or disagree with me about the game. But with all that said, I am all out of game here, and I will be doing something else next time. But I do hope you've enjoyed this because, again, the notion of someone enjoying or liking or finding any of my videos worth a watch or enjoyable or informative or whatever is the reason to keep this hobby going. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time in the next game.